Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about some things that I purchased off of the Chanel site that are new releases for their fall 2019 collection. I was really shocked to see these products available on their site already. It is just mid-July, and I guess in the fashion world, I used to work at Saks, and July is when you actually start changing over inventory, so you start to see pre-fall things or whatever. So I guess it makes sense to them, but for me, and I'm guessing for most of you out there, it's really early to be talking about fall makeup, and this fall collection is very fall. There is nothing kind of if and or buts about it. It is very fall. So let me just go ahead and tell you what I did not purchase from this collection in case, that's like the only thing you were interested in. So I did not get the new Le Volume Ultra Noir de Chanel mascara. I'm not even sure what that's about. I think it's like a play on their Volume de Chanel mascara. I don't know if it's a new color. I don't know if it's a new formula. I'm not sure. I did not get the two nail colors. They have a black and a white. I did not pick those up. I also did not pick up the white Cielo U waterproof, the long-lasting eyeliner. I did not pick that up. I was going to, and then I thought, do I really need a white eyeliner? Not so much. So I skipped on that, and then I skipped on the two Rouge Allure liquid powders and the two Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme lipsticks. They looked beautiful, and I feel like they were absolutely perfect for this collection, but I just don't really gravitate towards or enjoy wearing matte lipsticks. So I just decided to skip on those, but I got everything else. The eye quads, the glitter gel, the top coats, the lip glosses, we got all that. So we're gonna be taking a look at all of those things. I will be applying as much of it as I can. It's very eye heavy, so I don't know how much of it I can actually put on my face today, but we'll go through all of it. And of course, I'll have some swatches for you. So let's go ahead and get started with the Gel Paillete, I think is how it's pronounced. This is the transparent shimmering gel, and this was very interesting to me. When I saw it on the site, I thought it was just going to be like another eye gloss. They had some eye glosses as part of their cruise collection, so I thought maybe it was just a different tone or something. But when I read a little bit more about it, I realized, oh no, it's not like that. It's really for the face and the body. And when I received it, I actually was very surprised at the size of it. So a lot of the products in this collection come in this limited edition packaging where it's half black and half white. And look at how big this is. So this is the tub of this gel. And let me just hold it up next to one of these Ombre Premier glosses, these eye glosses. So that's the size difference. So this is almost like a face cream size. Let me see how much product is in here. There's 0.7 ounces, 20 grams of product. This is a very heavy jar, it's glass. And let me just go ahead and open it up and show you what it looks like on the inside. So it looks like a gel with like little micro glitters suspended in there. I want to say the micro glitters are, there's like a silvery and then there's a gold in there. So it's on the more, subtle side, and I say subtle only because there's no like holographic or color shift. Like I don't see it going like shifting to like pink or purple or blue or anything like that. I just see like a gold, bronze, and like silver reflect in there. So I am not going to put this on my body because I don't generally wear body makeup. I don't know why that's so funny to me. The concept of me wearing body makeup is very funny. Anyway, I'm just going to apply this to my face. And of course, I should have thought about this before I prepped for this video because I put down foundation, concealer, and then I powdered. But we're going to go ahead and just apply this over the powder. Let's see how it goes. When I swatched this, the texture didn't seem as goopy as I thought it was going to be. It actually felt a little bit more satiny. So on the website, under how to apply, it says apply with fingertips onto high points of face for a brilliant look or onto shoulders and décolleté for subtle luminosity. So I think it's really just a highlighter, if you will. I'm just going to use whatever is in this cap here because I think that's going to be plenty. And that is, I don't know if you can see, but that's like the texture. Gel is actually just the perfect description for it. It is very gel-like. So I'm going to go ahead and tap some onto the high points of my cheekbone here and see how that goes. It ends up being a little bit sticky on the skin. Let's see if it kind of dries down to something a little bit less tacky. But there it is on my cheek, and you'll notice that it's not quite as like glittery as you would think it would be by looking at it in the jar. It really just kind of has a nice sheen. I feel like what you see more of is the actual gel versus the micro glitters, but you definitely see a sheen there. You definitely see a little bit of a shine, and that is the gel. I'm just going to apply some to my other cheekbone here. Oops. And I'm applying a bit more just to see if maybe you can see like the glitters a little bit more. I'm just afraid that if it kind of doesn't set down and if it stays tacky, if you put too much on, it's going to end up being a little bit goopy. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, this side where I put more down, it's just probably an obvious observation, but I definitely see more micro glitters in there. It's more obvious than this side where I only patted just a little bit down. So that is the face and body gel, and it definitely does not set down. It's still fairly like wet on my skin. It's not very sticky, but it almost feels like when you just put face cream on and that cream has not sunken in yet. That's what it feels like. It's just kind of like permanently in that state. So being that it kind of stays tacky, I'm not sure that this is a product for everyone, but this is a very editorial product. It's very pretty, and I'm personally kind of happy that it's a little bit more subtle than it appears in the jar. But I do like how subtle it is, and I'm glad I put my hair back because I do feel like it's something that your hair would stick into. So that is the Gel Paillete, the face and décolleté transparent shimmering gel. This I bet would be very, very pretty on the body if you were wearing like a low-cut dress or something. Let's go ahead and move on to all of these eyeshadows. So I got both quads, the Noir Extreme and the Modern Glamour, and then I got both top coats, both single shadows. So both eyeshadow quads come in the typical Chanel boxes, not the special fall boxes that are like split in half. Let's talk about Modern Glamour first. This is the one that looks a little bit more typical of Chanel in regards to their quads. This is the one that has the very black and white story, and here's a close-up of the quad. Let's go ahead and take a look at some swatches. So I swatched from the top left corner and I went in clockwise direction. So the top left color is probably the warmest color in this quad. It's like a metallic silvery color, but there's like a hint of warmth in there, almost makes it like a taupe. And then the next color is like that white color. This white shade has a really beautiful satin finish to it. It's quite beautiful in its subtlety. And then we have like a more typical silver, kind of medium gray toned shimmer shade. And then we have the one matte shade in this quad, which is in the bottom left-hand corner, and that is the matte black. It's not like the blackest black I've seen. It's probably like the darkest gray I've ever seen in a matte shadow. So that is the Modern Glam quad. Now let's take a look at this Noir Extreme. And this quad I probably got the most questions about because it physically just doesn't look like the other quads that Chanel typically comes out with. The pans are flat, they're not mounded, there's no imprint on them, and from what I can tell, these are just pressed shadows, but they're very, very creamy. I believe dimethicone is the first ingredient for them. Let me just make sure. Yeah, dimethicone is the first ingredient for all of the colors, so it has that very kind of slick, creamy feeling to them where it almost feels like cool when you put your finger in the pan. Let's go ahead and take a look at some swatches. Again, I started from the top left corner and went clockwise direction. So the top left color is this really, really like antique burnt kind of gold. And then we have a nice kind of gray color, then we have a brown, and then we have like a very deep kind of red, like oxblood kind of color. All four of these shades are incredibly creamy, they're incredibly pigmented, and they're beautiful. So I definitely want to play around with both of these quads. We'll see what colors will play well together. And then let me just show you the two top coats quickly because I do want to use these also. So first we have number 317 Carte Blanc, and this one is like a white foiled shade. This one's a little bit different than the white color that's in the Modern Glamour quad. The formula is very different and it has like little micro glitters in there. It definitely is more of a top coat. It's a little bit more sheer, but I think I'll kind of demo both of them so you guys can get a better sense of the difference between those two. And then the other single shadow is number 327 Penombre, and this one, wow. This one is also, it's like a burnt kind of gold color, but the micro glitters, the undertone is absolutely beautiful. So these are going to make really, really wonderful complements to both of the quads. So I really just want to stick to these two quads and the two top coats and see if I can create a look. But when I'm looking at all the colors that I have here, I really don't have anything that is like a typical transition shade for me, which is generally where I like to start. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to start with the Modern Glamour quad, and I'm going to use this kind of taupey metallic shade, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to start with my Sonia G Blender Pro brush, and I'm going to go into that taupey shade. And I played with these shadows a little bit when I got them, but really didn't put it through a nice test. So this is kind of a first impressions here. The pigmentation and the blendability of the shadow is beautiful. Okay, so that's the taupey shade from Modern Glamour. I'm going to move over to the Noir Extreme palette. I'm really just dying to use this like burnt gold color here. I'm going to take my Sonia G Crease 2 brush and go into this color. Just start to place this on the outer corner here and work that in. I just had the littlest bit on my brush, and there is a lot of pigmentation in these shadows. Okay, next I'm going to take my Sonia G Builder 1 brush, and I'm going to go into the white shade in the Modern Glamour quad, and I'm going to put that on my right eye, and then we're going to look at the top coat and just put it on the other eye, just so you guys can see the difference. And I'm just taking this Crease 2 brush and blending that shade together with the white here. So there is the white shade from Modern Glamour. It just has a really nice, you know, kind of like satin finish. And now let me go ahead and use this Ombre Premier top coat. And this formula is a little bit flakier. I guess you could say it's a little bit chunkier. And I'm trying it with this Builder 1 brush, but I do feel like it would probably work better with a finger. So there is the top coat. So the top coat is much more shimmery, and I feel like the white one in the Modern Glamour is a little bit more smooth. But I'm going to try this with my finger, and I'm going to see how much I can kind of build this up, or if it really remains like a top coat. There is definitely some fallout there. Oh yeah, the impact is much greater when I used a finger or added a second layer. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this to my right eye. And now let's see, maybe I'll add the other top coat like to the outer corners here. Again, this is in the color Penombre. And I'm just going to go in with my finger. I'm just going to use my forefinger here. These are so pretty. They're so wet looking. So much fun. Those top coats really add a lovely, lovely shimmer. And for a top coat, these are a little bit different. Like when I use the Charlotte Tilbury or the Tom Ford ones, they always feel like there's a little bit of softness there. Like if you actually use your finger and rub over them in the quad, there's like a little bit of give. I feel like I kind of create a ditch pretty quickly. These are a little bit more dense. They're a little bit drier than either the Charlotte Tilbury or the Tom Ford. These are actually probably a little bit closer to the Tom Ford Duos, where they have the cream at the bottom and then the top coat on top, you know, when you flip the top open. Those have like a harder kind of feeling to them. That's kind of more closer feeling to this, but this I feel like has more pigmentation than the Tom Ford ones. The Tom Ford ones are very, very sheer, and I feel like really can only be used as a top coat unless you want something just like a very light kind of like glitteriness to your lid. These I feel like could be used alone. I feel like there's a little bit more pigmentation in these versus the Tom Ford. Okay, I'm going to finish up this look by using my Isom T5 brush. I'm going to go into this matte black and line my eyes with this. Alright, so that is it for the eyeshadow. Just a couple words about the Modern Glamour quad. So the quality and the performance I feel like are very similar to all of the more recent quads that have been released. I love these shimmery satin shades. I think they performed really well. These two I used today, but I have played with all four of them a little bit. This matte color is definitely a little bit drier than the mattes that have come out recently, that always have kind of like a creamy feeling. This one is definitely a little bit drier than that. I'm assuming it's because of that black pigment. It's very, very pigmented, and I feel like whenever I use black shadows, they're always a little bit drier than the others. So that is the Modern Glamour quad. Very happy with it. Absolutely love it. And then this quad is, it's so interesting, and it's a little bit different for Chanel in terms of this formula being in a quad. They reminded me a little bit of some of the Le Beige 9-pan shadows. If you have that palette and you really like the quality of those, you know how those are a little bit more of like a typically pressed powder, but they're very, very creamy. They have that very strong like dimethicone feeling, and when you kind of finger swatch them, they even feel a little bit cool. That's what these shadows remind me of. I don't know if it's the same exact formula, but I do feel like it's very, very reminiscent to those. They have a lot of pigment. These are very like black based sooty colors. They're really, really gorgeous. I definitely want to do a look just with this palette. Maybe come fall. I feel like right now this is a little bit dramatic for me and the summertime, but this to me is like the perfect fall palette. It's really, really beautiful. I think the color story is just so spot on. If you do decide to get this quad, I would just take it slow. I would build up slowly. These are very, very richly pigmented shadows, and I feel like if you go in, because they're so dimethicone-y, if you do go in really heavy at first, I feel like it may be a little bit of a challenge to blend out. So I would kind of go in like light layers and just kind of like work it out first, and then like build up on it if you want a little bit more depth, a little bit more darkness there. That's how I would work it, but I'm no eyeshadow pro. Like if you're really experienced, obviously do whatever you want. Okay, so before we jump into the lip glosses, I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes, add a little bit of mascara, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of blush to my face. I kind of left my cheeks bare because I didn't know what was going to happen with this, but I'm going to use a little bit of cream blush, and I'll be right back. Oh, actually, my friend at the Chanel counter here at Saks gave me a sample to the Le Volume Revolution de Chanel. Now, this is not the mascara that's part of this collection. I did not pick up that one. That's like the Ultra Noir one, but he thought that I would like this when I told him how much I liked the Tom Ford Lash Raise mascara. This is an extreme volume mascara, a 3D printed brush. So let's give this a shot together. If any of you guys use this particular mascara from Chanel, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I really feel, I'm very inexperienced when it comes to mascara, so I really feel like I'm still getting a sense of what I like and what kind of mascara for what situation. So anyway, so here is the wand. It just looks like a bigger version of the Le Volume de Chanel. So we'll see how this one goes. This one seems very similar to the Le Volume de Chanel. Maybe a little bit drier? Yeah, maybe a little bit drier. Okay, not bad. I think I still like the Tom Ford Lash Raise though. That one seemed a little bit more separating and lengthening. So I'm just gonna grab the cream blush out of this palette and just tap some on my cheeks, just to give my cheeks a little bit of color. All right, just a hint of color. I want to kind of keep this look a little bit stark since it's so like black and white. Let me throw on some of my Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, and I'll be right back. So last but not least, let's talk about the glosses. I picked up number 814 Crystal Clear, and this is the one with the white top. Oh my God, that looks so much fun. And let's go ahead and give you a swatch of this 814 Crystal Clear. And then next we have the Laque Noir 816. It's this one that looks black in the tube, but let me show you this swatch. You'll see that it has, it's really just kind of like a purple undertoned black. Let me go ahead and apply the Crystal Clear so you guys can see what that looks like all on its own. So very typical Chanel packaging, no surprises there. This gloss feels a little bit thicker than the other Rouge Cocoa glosses that I have. And you guys know I love my Chanel Rouge Cocoa gloss. So I'm very well acquainted with the formula. This one definitely feels a little bit like thicker, like it feels harder for my lips to kind of like move around. I actually just wiped that off. I want to put this on again because I thought I felt maybe a little like chunkiness in there, but I was like, maybe it's my dry skin, so I took that off. I'm gonna try it again. My lips feel smooth right now. Yeah, like I feel something in this gloss. I don't know if it's the texture of it or the actual like micro glitters. It doesn't feel like micro glitters because it doesn't feel sandy. Maybe it's just the thickness, because now that I'm working it in a little bit, I feel like it's gone. I'm not sure how I feel about this because I was not expecting such a thick feeling gloss from Chanel. Usually their glosses are just that kind of perfect weight. You know, they're not too heavy, they're not too light. This one I feel like has a little bit more stick to it and is thicker. So that is the Crystal Clear 814. All right, so let's go ahead and try the other gloss. This is again 816 Laque Noir. I'm sure I'm slaughtering that. And you guys know how much I love a black lip. Although I don't wear them often, I do really like them. I do appreciate them. All right, so there is Laque Noir. I really like this. The color of this one actually reminds me of the Surratt Beauty Lip Luster in Ton, T-O-N. It has that same kind of like purpley undertone. So this formula definitely feels a lot closer to the regular Rouge Coco gloss formula. So that's it for all of the Chanel Fall 2019 things that I purchased. I pretty much gave you my thoughts on all the eyeshadows as I went through it and the lip glosses. The gel is definitely just a very, very different product for me. It's not something that I would normally wear or would wear very often, but I think it is very interesting, and it has definitely set down to something much better, but I can still feel it on my cheeks. And if that bothers you, then this is definitely not for you. But I do think it's a really nice, like a subtle, twinkly kind of highlight. So we'll see if I actually use this. The eyeshadows are gorgeous. I think if you want to pick up any of these, I don't think that you'll be disappointed. If any of these color stories speak to you, like I just had to have this one. And this one is just so moody and fall and autumnal, and I love it. And this formula is really, really gorgeous and a nice change for the quads. The top coats, gorgeous. Again, I gave you all my thoughts on that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video.